Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Yeah, no kidding. That coronavirus, man, that stuff is real. Apparently, there's a new type of variant that's going around. I don't know how to explain it to people. I've said it in other videos. I think they should call it the sleep and beauty variant, man. You can't stop sleeping. You get all the flu-like symptoms. Those are easy to get over. I had no problems with that. The headaches are from hell. The headaches are so bad that it's worse than a migraine headache. That's how bad the headaches are. They're almost unbearable. It almost seems like there's nothing you could take to get rid of the headaches. Like there's nothing there you can do to stop them or lessen the pain. The headaches are that bad. It sucks. But the weird thing is, this variant, one of the lingering effects is fatigue. I'm not even kidding. It's hard to stay awake. I'm constantly sleeping. A portion of the time, I don't even realize I've fallen asleep. I'm trying to get up. I'm trying to get functionable. But just walking as far as 10 steps wipes out my body sometimes. It just feels like you're so exhausted. Like you haven't gotten sleep in weeks is what it feels like. And as much as you sleep, you're thinking, okay, that should be enough. You try to force yourself up, because that's what I've been doing. Trying to force myself up, trying to force getting around, making myself go outside, walk slowly, just get my bearings. That's really super exhausting. My muscles and my legs are exhausted, and my arms, they're sore. The fatigue goes right into your shoulders. It makes it feel like it's almost impossible to hold your own head up because those muscles are just wiped out. Whatever this is, it lingers for a while. It's terrible, man. It's terrible. I keep trying to get up and get functionable, but I just can't. Today's a better day. I keep forcing myself up just to see if I can get around. Even if I feel like I can't, I force myself up because I feel like if I don't, you're just not going to get up. It's just unbelievable. Anyways, that's what's going on. That's why you haven't heard much from me. I can't get my thoughts together long enough to do any kind of videos. My brain is just too exhausted. Crazy as crap, man. I hate it. Anyways, let's get back to Iraq. There's some news that's a combination of good and bad. It's just, again, the ability to point out if Iraq could just get their crap together, they would be in a whole lot better place than they are right now. Before I get started, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. Right now is a good time to be buying gold and silver. I don't know if you paid attention to what's going on with the comics. Chris Marcus put out a report earlier that was really good. I'll touch on part of that a little bit later on. The fact that over the last 2 days, 7.5 million ounces of silver has left the comics, which is a record. It's unbelievable. So where's it going? Where the hell is the silver going? That's what you have to be asking yourself. So when you go to buy your gold and silver, go to our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. Oh yes, look at that miner. $1,250. To my subscribers over there on Pimpy's News Network, this could be you. Or even better, this could be you. All 15 squares full, which led to a 64,000 jackpot that I got. That's right. If you're a subscriber on Pimpy's News Network and you pay $5 or more per month, this could be you. Once a month, we will select one name out of the network that pays $5 or more on their subscription, and you will automatically be entered into a drawing. If your name is selected, we will reach out to you via email to let you know you have been selected. We will let you know what day we will go live on air from the casino, put in $100 on your behalf, and from there, everybody could watch live to see if you walk away with hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, and possibly even tens of thousands of dollars. We will all see live on air what the outcome is. That's going to be the fun part of this whole thing. So come on over, join Pimpy's News Network. $5 a month is all you have to pay. to be eligible for the drawing. And again, if you're selected, we will do this live on air. You will see what the winner gets. It's going to be a lot of fun. Come on over there and join us. I look forward to it. So there's a couple articles in the news, not a whole lot going on, but there's a couple that I definitely want to cover. I've made several videos explaining to people that there's a criteria that has to be met in order for a country to consider changing their exchange rate. Economic and government stability, those are two biggies. You know, they want to make sure that the country is safe and secure. Investors want to feel like their investments are secure if they do invest in the country. You know, you don't want any kind of civil arrest, the whole 9 yards. So anytime we come across an article that talks about stabilizing, we definitely want to look into it. You can see here that Al-Qademi to the U.S. ambassador, Iraq desires to cooperate to consolidate regional and international stability. This fight between coordinating framework and the Soros movement is affecting the Iraqi people in a major, major way. So there is both blessings and negatives that come with what's going on between these two, bickering and the fact that they still have not formed a government. One of the negatives is the fact that the international community is really paying attention to what's going on in Iraq. How could any outside investors want to invest in the country when you have no idea what government's going to be in power? Because that does make a world of difference. Prime Minister Al-Qademi received Thursday the U.S. ambassador, Alina Romanowski. She's new. She just took control. And her accompanied delegation on the occasion of assumption of her new duties. So the Prime Minister's media channels said in a statement that was received by the news that Al-Qademi reiterated during the meeting that Iraq attaches great importance to developing relations with the United States of America in various fields for common and long-term interests of the Iraqi and American people, and that this relationship can achieve more progress while enhancing a common understanding of the two parties' visions and pursuing ways of wisdom and dialogue. Yeah, there are a ton of other investors that want to move into Iraq, which is what helps support the dinar. They're still not stable yet. That's the issue. He expressed that the Iraqi government desired to cooperate and work to consolidate regional and international stability in a manner that enhances the horizons of economic advancement and sustainable development for the Iraqi people and the people of the region. During the meeting, they emphasized the continuation of security cooperation and coordination in the field of combating terrorism and within the framework of the training and advising the Iraqi security forces. Now, this is great news. So when you come across something like this, you're like, yeah, this is awesome. Great news. Central bank sales exceed $1 billion in a week. A week. The more they build up their foreign reserves, the better it is for the Iraqi dinar. Said the Central Bank of Iraq sales of hard currency to the dollars this week amounted to more than $1 billion, while a financial expert attributed the increase in sales to an increase in food price globally. So the news stated that the central bank sold during the current week for the 5 days in which the auctions was open, starting from Sunday through till Thursday, 1,500,736,000 at a daily rate of $210,147,300, an increase of 23.76% over the past week. That's a hell of a jump. Said our correspondents added that the highest dollar sales were on Monday, where the sales amounted to $216,196,141, while the lowest, which was on Wednesday, still was above $200 million at $203,900,000. He pointed out that most of the sales went in the form of remittance abroad to finance foreign trade, while the selling price of the dollar transferred to bank accounts abroad, in addition to cash sales, amounted to 1,460 dinars per dollar, which is right where the rate is. The financial expert said in an interview, the increase in central bank sales, especially with regards to foreign remittance, is due to the rise in food prices globally, especially the basic ones, which have more than doubled. Traders started raising requests to purchase dollars through remittance to cover their imports with larger amounts than previous amounts for importing these materials, What appears like is that these people are importing goods from overseas, but they're buying it in bulk, more than they probably need, just because of inflation. So it makes sense to me that they would buy in bulk. It says right here, the Al Fatah announces a meeting between Sadr and Amari, which is supposed to happen today. We'll see what the results are. So then you come across great news like this. Again, there's so much great thing happening in Iraq. If the dang government would hurry up and get formed, we can get some cooperation, get a budget passed, then things would be a whole lot better. Iraq is the fastest growing Arab country. Why is this not reflected on the people? Great damn question. Unusually, Iraq recorded positive economic indicators in the past weeks, as Iraqi Finance Minister Alawi confirmed that the country's cash reserves are expected to rise to more than $90 billion by the end of this year, noting that the level is a record for Iraq in the meantime. The International Monetary Fund expected the Iraqi economy to grow by 9.5% this year, to be the highest in the Arab world. Iraqi minister considered that the recovery in oil prices and the financial management, which he described as wise, helped the reserves reach the level of $70 billion last April, after the country's foreign exchange reserves decreased to an alarming rate in 2020 when the Rona first caused the worldwide oil price collapse. They were on the verge of bankrupt, but they did all the necessary steps to make sure they didn't collapse. And then not only that, talk about a rebound. They're at a surplus now. These positive figures in the Iraqi economy raise questions about their causes, as the appearance of Saleh, the economic advisor to the prime minister, in his speech to the news indicated that the high volume of cash reserves in the country is due to the rise in global oil prices, with an estimated increase on average between 40 to 45% over last year. Man, that's ass kicking. All right. Saleh added that the Iraqi government relies on oil to pay internal expenses after replacing it with the local Iraqi currency, according to the dinar exchange rate issued by the central bank, which is equivalent to 1,460 dinars for every dollar. Consequently, since the external financial flows are greater than the volume of internal spending, that's absolutely phenomenal. That's what you want. Which is adopted a ratio of 1 to 12 according to the decision of the financial administration due to the failure to approve the country's federal budget. This led to the accumulation of foreign exchange at the central bank and increase in the volume of reserves, as he put it, which is great, but you still need a budget to get passed. About the positives, he explained that the volume of foreign exchange is close to covering the value of the Iraqi currency and the volume of currency circulating locally, which continues a stabilizing factor for the dinar, which helps to face inflation inside the country due to the repercussions of the continuation of the Russia-Ukraine war. So is this real growth? But let me backtrack just a little, just so you understand. If you got enough foreign reserves to cover all your currency, people will invest in your currency because it's stable, it's very strong, it's secure. Right now, the strongest currency is the Russian ruble. Why? Because it's supported by gold. So is this real growth? It says the data of the International Monetary Fund raises many questions about whether the growth of the Iraqi economy is real, especially with regards to the stability of the national currency. And in this regards, the financial expert says that the high growth rate in Iraq is currently due to the emergence of oil sector as the only source of economic added value, with the non-oil economic sectors are declining. That's not what we want. We want them to increase, not decline. That's bad. And the only reason why it's declining is because they haven't passed a budget to start funding new projects. Speaking to the news, Dr. explained that the economic growth announced by the International Monetary Fund is considered growth for the oil sector and not for the real Iraqi economy. And without the oil sector, Iraq will not record any real growth as such a percentage announced by the fund. All of the growth is based on sales of oil. That's really bad. I told you Iraq cannot survive just on the sales of its oil. Look what happened in 2020 when the prices collapsed. So if you want a stable economy, you have to do way better than relying on just oil. He added that the rise in reserves in the Central Bank of Iraq is not a complete indicator of economic situation, explaining that the volume of the reserves does not cover the volume of Iraqi cash, which amounts to 80 trillion dinars, and therefore the portion of the volume of reserves is less than it was 2 years ago when the size of the Iraqi monetary bloc was approximately 60 trillion. So it's 20 trillion higher. And even though they got more money, the fact that they made more dinars does not help. Explaining that the current reserves provide a sufficient volume of liquidity to import from abroad without providing financial stability for the local economy, which is bad. That's not what you want. Okay? We need stability in a local currency. As this opinion goes to the professor of economics at the Iraqi University, who says that the increase in the volume of central banks' reserves is due to the difference in the ratio between Iraqi's imports in dollars and what the Iraqi government sells in the currency auctions, explaining that the Iraqi imports amounted to $8 billion per month, while the currency auctions it sells a total of $4.5 billion per month. It reflects on the Iraqis. Despite the economic boom revealed by the numbers, the Iraqis are wondering about the reasons that prevent them from being reflected on the Iraqi people, who suffer from high rates of inflation, poverty, and unemployment. Public finances after the expiry of more than 5 months of the fiscal year. Because of this, according to the professor, a problem arose for the government in how it handled the financial surplus, commenting that the Iraqi government had limited employment in the public sector since 2014, in light of the fact that the private sector has many problems and depends heavily on the public sector, as well as he stated that the recent approval of the law criminalizing normalization with Israel includes legal articles that will cause great harm to foreign investors in Iraq, which will increase economic difficulties according to it. This is the issue when you have a country who is dictated by the religion as well as the different sectors. I knew Saudi making it illegal to deal with Israel was going to be a bad thing. I just think it's screwed up anyways. Why wouldn't you want peace? Why wouldn't you try to do whatever you can to help your people out? But now making it illegal to do any kind of business with Israel is going to affect its economy. So this is what I'm talking about when Iraq can't get out of its way to save its own life. It cuts off its own nose to spite its own face. Crap like this. You can see right here, it's telling you foreign investors are going to take issue with the fact that they passed a law making it illegal to have a normal working relations with Israel. So outside investors, this is going to affect Iraq. People keep asking me, in my opinion, how far do I think we are away from a rate change? Well, there's a lot of factors involved in it, but I can tell you right now, based on where we are, even if we started getting on track right now, it's going to be at least 2 years. There's many reasons why I believe that, and I keep pointing them out. So even if they get on track and have all these great things happening, then they still have to stabilize everything. Now, that's not to say that all of a sudden one day they might make some kind of announcement, and lo and behold, the rate changed, and I was wrong. That's always a possibility, but I doubt it. Let's just be realistic. You could see all the things happening. No government formed, making it illegal to have a working relationship with Israel. There's no economic stability in that country. People are starting to rise up. You had Saudi threatening war. Making it illegal to deal with Israel is going to be a real turnoff to outside investors who are looking to invest in Iraq. Right now, they're benefiting from high oil prices, but how long is that going to happen? Once the war between Russia and Ukraine ends, there's going to be more oil hitting the markets, which is going to cause the value of oil to drop. So we'll see. Said, and financial experts added other reasons, which are that the Iraq is witnessing political problems that hinder the formation of the government and the approval of the country's general budget, which means a crisis in dealing with the Iraqi economy, which prevents Iraqis from benefiting from the large financial returns. As for the former member of the Parliament Financial Committee, Rashid, he believes that these main reasons for Iraqis not benefiting from the financial abundance is due to the lack of productive economic growth inside the country, which is the main driver of internal growth due to the provision of job opportunities, pointing out that Iraq is witnessing an increase in financial revenues, continued decline of the productive economy, according to him. So the revenues from the oil sales are increasing, which is good. You get plenty of money. But the internal economy of Iraq is being affected. That's the exact opposite of what you want. So this is what I'm talking about. You're not going to see any increase in the Iraqi dinar because of this. Until the government is formed, until they get in there and pass the budget, until they stabilize the economy, you're not going to see any increase in the Iraqi dinar. Yes, I know, I'm the bad guy and everybody's going to put down there, yeah, what about this and that? No, I don't care about how much money they make off their oil revenues. It absolutely, positively makes no difference by itself. You need a combination of things before the Iraqi dinar can increase in value. And just because you get an increase in oil sales, that doesn't mean crap. How many times have you guys been hearing all those guys talk about the numbers on the back screens? Redemptions are open, 800 numbers, their military intel saying that the military now is getting ready to start releasing the exchange rate. You guys have been hearing that for decades. Has any of that ever happened? No. That's why the guys should avoid doing dates and rates, because it's bullcrap. But they feel it's necessary to lie to you guys just so it can keep you paying for their information that's obviously no good. Rashid told the news that there is no productive sector that contributes to the increase in the growth rate announced by the IMF, and therefore Iraq can buy U.S. Treasury bonds or any other country with a small profit margin without being able to invest money internally, describing economic growth as a bubble economic, which leads to Iraq remaining amongst the countries with the fragile economy unless it addresses its structural problems. So again, a fragile economy. I remember when I told everybody the economy is not stable. They're like, "What do you mean, Pimpy? There's so much money coming in." You guys, this is that channel where we keep you grounded and educate you as we go along. That's what those other people aren't talking to you about. These are the things that you need to take in consideration. I bring this to your attention so as we monitor the news, we could see where we stand as far as the change in the exchange rate of the dinar, as long as these different factors start falling into place like they should. As for the government, the appearance of Saleh, economic advisor, to help the prime minister believe that there is no positive repercussion in the Iraqi streets unless the country's general budget is approved, which includes social and investment expenditures, especially since it is hoped that the value of the country's general budget, if approved, will reach 200 trillion dinars, equivalent to 136 billion, up from 90 billion. That's a huge jump in expenditures. That's really going to lend to the internal growth if they could just get the damn budget passed. So it says on here that the Iraqis remain hostage a political position that keep them from benefiting from the large financial reserves that Iraq has enjoyed, especially with the rise in oil prices and the increase in volume of Iraqi oil exports to a record high in the past months. See, that's a dang shame, and that's the type of stuff that I'm talking about. So until the government gets formed, until a budget's passed, and there's some kind of normalization happening in the internal economy, there's not going to be any change to the Iraqi dinar. I know I'm the bearer of bad news, but that's just the honest to God truth. Anyways, that's it for now. You guys hit the thumbs up button. If you are a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely appreciate it. And I'll catch you later. I'm out.